Straight Talk Podcast. I am fella on the car phone. This is my partner, Rev Ro. How you doing today, buddy?
It's been a long day, Josh.
It's been a long day. You've been struggling in these streets?
I've been struggling hard.
You been for the streets or you been struggling in the streets?
Both of them. Both of them. It's been a long day in these streets, man.
It's a long day?
Yeah. I'm trying to get like you.
My day was pretty good. I got off early, you know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Got to try to set everything up for the podcast.
I clocked out at 7 o'clock, sir.
Yikes.
I've been there since 8:30.
Yikes.
I'm in no mood. I'm having a very bad day.
We're here, and we actually got us some guests.
We got some guests for the first time in a minute.
First time visually.
Yeah.
And they here.
They used to just, you know what I'm saying, listening to the guests.
Live in
this
studio.
Time you can see them.
Live in studio.
Yeah.
We got my boy, Cam Belton.
Yes, sir.
And AP.
What's good? What's wrong with you?
How y'all doing?
Don't start with me, Adrian, bro. We not finna do this today.
How y'all doing?
Bro, we good. I'm good.
The camera right there, player.
I'm blessed and highly favored. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Adrian got a Super Bowl ring on. We gonna talk about that?
Yeah.
Calm down.
Are we gonna talk about the
show
Super
it
Bowl
off.
ring?
Show it off for the
Calm,
people.
calm
He
down.
took calm down.
Calm
Down.
Calm down.
My face a little itchy.
You know what I'm saying?
But, you know, that's how it is. We are live, and we going to be talking nothing but that straight talk.
Straight talk. They see it.
NBA. And
Yes.
guess what? WNBA.
Y'all thought we forgot.
We ain't forget about y'all.
I ain't forget.
But, I mean, so, should we just get right into it? Or we
Let's
good?
get right into it. Where you want to start with it?
We're going to start with, I wanted to start with TJ Warren. It would have been better if he balled today.
Let's talk about the drug test. When is it going to happen?
Ooh.
You dropping 50, 30, 30,
Ooh.
and you are nobody.
They gonna
You are cash.
Hey, but chill.
You are cash considerations. What are you doing?
TJ is somebody. He's a little more than
Somebody
nobody.
to who?
He balled down at NC
His
State
mother?
back in the day.
Oh, the NC State, years ago. But we talking about like in the league now.
He
That's
had
probably his first 30-point game in.
No, he had a 40-point game earlier this season before the break.
Drug test that man. He
I'm
came
sorry.
out dropping 53. Who is he? He's not even. If you
He's
think
the-
of
he's the
if you
bubble
think of the
Jordan.
options on,
He's the Bubble Jordan.
you think of the options on the Pacers. TJ Warren is not your. He not high on that list. So where he come from?
It goes Victor Oladipo then TJ Warren.
No, he goes Victor Oladipo. Miles Turner probably number 3 by now. Domantas Sabonis is definitely number 2. He's the most consistent player on that team. Double all the time. It's definitely not TJ Warren in your top 3. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You wrong.
Yikes.
You're wrong.
Since when?
You're wrong.
Since when?
There's a reason Pacers
We're not talking about the bubble.
We talking about the bubble.
No, I'm
TJ
sorry.
Warren was
Aside from right now,
He's definitely
since
high
when?
on that list.
TJ Warren was number 2 on the list.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I'm sorry.
After last week, you're right.
I'm sorry. Sabonis was number 2.
Exactly.
Sabonis made the All-Star team. Sabonis
Exactly.
is number 2.
Thank you.
But
Not gonna
TJ
disrespect
Warren,
him.
but
Not
TJ,
gonna
but
disrespect him.
Sabonis is more of a all around. He's gonna get boards, assists. He's not gonna give you as many
Buckets.
points.
'Cause he ain't taking drugs.
TJ Warren,
TJ is on that.
He on that pack.
He on that pack.
TJ Warren has been consistently.
Hey, say it with me.
Off per pound.
Performance
Oh my
enhancing
God!
drugs.
You on
It's
one today.
2020. If people don't do that in the NBA.
You don't think people do that? How you
No.
drop 50 then? Exactly. You can't come up with an
Yeah.
answer. You can't
He
come up with an
got
answer. Plausible deniability is what I'll take it as. Because you don't have an answer.
He got
You ain't
hot.
got the answer,
Anybody can get hot.
Anybody? Not TJ
J.R.
Warren.
Smith got hot before, got 40.
J.R. Smith is different. You expect that from him. Who the hell is TJ
They're
Warren?
the same player.
Wait, we just gonna move on. Anyway, TJ Warren.
What you think? What you guys think about TJ Warren?
Screw. No, I'm just playing. I'm really
You
here.
on
just-
one today. You on
Right,
one
you gotta
today.
know.
That's how I
Hey.
feel. I
We
feel
on all
like you on
disrespect
one
today.
today.
Disrespectful
I feel
time.
like TJ Warren, he has been on teams that ain't nobody looking at, right? So he on the Phoenix Suns. He was balling on the Phoenix Suns. That's why they wanted him. That's why the Pacers wanted him in the first place.
Yeah.
Cash
Sorry, go ahead.
considerations or not, it don't change what the man was doing. So now he's on the Pacers. Now he in the bubble and he balling out because ain't no Oladipo.
Okay.
So they need the man to ball out. He's
He
stepping
ain't
up. He
doing
being a
nothing.
team member.
You right. He just ain't doing nothing. Touche.
Damn, you took my quarter, Josh. No, I was worried about the quarter.
What you want the quarter for,
Because it's
man?
lucky.
That's a lucky quarter.
It is.
That's what TJ Warren must keep in his socks.
Hey, but chill.
I know.
I don't know how he keep doing this. But I don't know. It did surprise me. I was a little salty because the night before James Harden had 49, and then he wanted to get 53. The first 50 in the bubble. Damn. James
you expect
almost
that
had
out
it.
of James Harden?
Yeah, but I like to
That
see.
ain't
It's
news.
more enjoyable for me if James does it because it's my team. So
Oh my gosh.
there's that. That's really all I got for him. I ain't got nothing but hate. It's just- Shouts out to the audience. Shouts out to the studio audience.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We do have a studio audience, by the way. They just here, you know.
Turn up.
Kinda
Just here so they
loitering.
don't get fined.
Shouts out to y'all. How y'all
Yeah, we
doing?
appreciate y'all. Y'all not on camera,
Whoop,
but it's my cousin and her boyfriend.
Hey.
You might be
So
y'all.
y'all
Here.
here.
We're not lying to y'all.
He looking
Got-
like
round of
dang, I
applause.
gotta
Round of
be
applause.
cousin.
There it is.
There it is.
Live studio audience,
Thank you,
ladies and
thank you,
gentlemen.
But yeah, I want to touch on that real quick. But we also
I
have
want some comments on it too. I see one.
Christian. Christian said he got TJ in his fantasy team. Christian, y'all don't know Christian. I went to college with him. Appreciate the
College
comment.
friends, you're too good for us now.
Appreciate the
Wow.
comment.
Right.
But wait, through fantasy sports aren't playing. Oh, though fantasy this coming. I see this
TJ's on his
coming.
fantasy team. He's coming through
Oh, okay.
fantasy sports.
Let the record show not only does Josh wear glasses, but the laptop is a good 4 feet away. It's
It
social
is. It's a
distancing.
yeah.
So
It's a distance away.
But
It's
it's
fine.
within the 6 feet.
So you gotta, you know what I'm saying, lean up real good, get a good look at it.
But yeah, so he's on your fantasy team. Shout out. Thank you for
Anyway.
commenting. All that good stuff.
First of all, if you tell me that you expected him to drop 30 in 3 consecutive games, I'm calling you a liar.
yeah.
calling
The
you a
fact
lie.
that you
I'm
picked
not gonna
him was
discredit
smart.
that.
I think it was smart that you picked him because they don't have They have Oladipo, but
He ain't doing
Oladipo,
nothing.
he ain't. They got to get points from somewhere, and the Pacers have been good all year. Actually, people might not
Somebody-
know.
what, he went without a miss. He don't miss.
He said he
in the
saw
first
this
lap.
coming. He said he saw this coming.
Shut, you capping.
All right, Christian, I see.
You did
I
not see a
see you,
50 or
Christian.
30 or 30 coming. You capping.
I see. Okay,
He-
my boy.
There's
With the
always
NBA now.
There's always one.
Let him know.
Yeah, I saw it coming. No, you didn't.
I did see the
Nah,
Warriors
but-
championships coming.
All right.
So we're gonna talk about things that matter. We're
Okay,
not living
okay.
in the past, Lakers
All right,
fan.
all right.
Like the last in the way.
So- my bad to our studio audience. He ain't like that. Yours is coming soon.
Come on, hey.
Yours is coming soon. If the Clippers don't win.
Justo Hill. Justo Hill's the one that's here. He talking about the bubble goat, right?
The bubble goat.
The bubble Jordan, exactly.
Oh.
Talk about TJ.
Bubble goat.
The bubble
feel
guts.
about
Like,
that,
what?
right.
All right.
That's what it gave me, the bubble guts.
Right.
Who is he trying to drop
That
buckets
was
like
pretty
this?
good. That was pretty good. But let's go.
I like that one.
We gotta
Yeah,
touch. We
sir.
gotta touch on the next topic. We do want to talk about. We gotta shed some light on the Suns. Undefeated.
Yeah.
Undefeated. They ain't lost. Who they? So who? I ain't even.
They
looked to see
played
who
the
They played the
Clippers.
Clippers.
They played the Mavericks. The Mavericks was their second game. Who was
Mhm.
their first game?
I don't
You remember AP?
Should have looked at it. We ain't gotta look at it. It's okay. But
Underdog.
Bring it up. We could always bring it up.
Anyway, look, undefeated. They 3-0 right now. They looking good, man. I mean, the Suns looked good at the beginning of the year when the actual season started.
But is it going to be enough? Because they're not in the. They're not in the.
They,
playoffs.
I don't even think they're close enough for these games.
So
to
they're
really
just
push them.
they're just playing at this point. They're playing just.
But are they close enough for
Play.
this to really get them in?
They the 9 seed right now.
They're not the Nazi.
I thought
No,
the
they're not
Suns-
the 9
Suns-
seed.
Okay, they the 10 seed, but it's only like a couple
A two
games
game- two
separated.
game.
They pretty close to New
Eight
Orleans.
through 10,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, at this point, the
You said
Grizzlies
New
ain't won a
Orleans?
game. Yeah,
Who?
New Orleans is like
New
a game and a
Orleans
half.
dropped.
No, New Orleans is a game and a half behind Memphis.
Check
I looked at it the other day. I
standings.
swear.
Check the standings.
The other day.
Check
No,
it
No,
today.
it was the other day because then they lost to the Clippers.
Yeah, check them
And
today. They
then
like 13.
they lost to somebody
They
else.
keep
Didn't they?
losing.
Yeah, I honestly, we said last week, New Orleans Pelicans had the bubble to tank. Although it doesn't matter at this
They-
point,
yeah,
you
they
can't
didn't-
tank
they
anymore.
didn't
But
play
they didn't
Zion.
come to actually win.
They didn't even play Zion.
You're playing Zion 3 minutes a game.
I mean, they playing them 12, just a quarter.
Oh, you get a full quarter worth
He
out of
had
4.
left the
You get
bubble
one.
though. He had left the bubble
And-
though. He had a family emergency, so his conditioning and all that got messed up. You can't play the
Right.
man. and
Boy,
then
you
injure
better
him.
get out there and figure it out.
It ain't his call.
They
though.
talking
Well,
about
look, he can get out there and still hold his
No,
own,
because
though.
they talking about the medical
It's the
staff.
coach.
If they think he looks winded, they tell Gentry to pull him. Y'all don't want to win no games, clearly.
Well, they don't want that.
They also
And
don't want
being-
to lose
being
him.
a little
They
out
don't
of
want to
shape.
lose him for another season. Is really what
Being
it
a little
is.
out of shape don't mean you gonna get injured.
He didn't play until the end of the game until his third game. So.
Yeah.
You don't
Look.
want your best player to come in, get tired, then he do something silly, don't land
We
right.
talk about y'all talk.
Look,
y'all
we
a
done
whole
transitioned.
tangent.
That's how Zion
We
has
talk
taken
about
the
the-
world by storm.
We
don't
talk
even
about the
focus on nobody.
Suns. Is this
Back to
real
it.
or is this just bubble luck?
I don't.
I mean,
Dude, are they gonna be
if we're
basically?
talking bubble luck? Well, you know what? I'm gonna let y'all keep it on the Suns. I was gonna bubble luck on how my Grizzlies are.
Anyway.
They're in a losing streak.
They
have
lost
bubble
them
bad
all.
luck.
Exactly.
They're not-
They're
that-
the bubble guts.
They're the bubble guts.
That's not a fluke though. They wasn't ready this year anyway.
But
They was playing
it
good
just-
all
it's
year,
falling
but they
apart
wasn't gonna
until
make
the
the
bubble.
AC. Had the season going on, they wasn't gonna make the
They
AC.
also got kind of a tough schedule so far. They had some pretty.
Blazers was always gonna be in the AC.
The Blazers aren't making it anyway.
Who gonna make it?
I think it's
Not the
bubble luck.
Blazers, but yeah, I think it's partially bubble luck. And like I said, you got to remember when the season first started back in October, the Suns went undefeated for the first like 3, 4, maybe 5 games. They were good.
That's 4 or 5 games.
But I'm saying exactly. So it's 3 games now.
What happened
so
for
it
the
means
rest of the
nothing.
season?
Exactly.
19.
So this 3 means nothing. They
Oh.
play well. Catch up, man.
Okay, my bad.
That was my point. They get off to a good start because you forget they are talented enough. They're still an NBA team, regardless of if they got like 4 wins and 86 losses. They're still an NBA team. They still got talent, and they still got Devin Booker, who's a walking bucket. So of course they're gonna look decent, but it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna mean nothing to me. The 3-0 is that's it.
They got Miami up next. They got
Suns gonna lose to
OKC.
Miami. They gonna lose to OKC for
they
sure.
got Philly up next.
Philly they can beat. Philly they will beat. I'll
And
take that
then
right now.
Another game against Dallas to finish out their schedule.
They ain't beating Dallas a second time, but Philly they will beat. Mark my words. They gonna beat Philly.
Philly ain't doing so hot.
Philly,
Philly's horrible.
I've never understood how you can have that
And
much
Ben
talent
Simmons,
on the team.
is out for the rest of basically the bubble.
Is he?
They said indefinitely. He not coming back.
Well, yeah, you only got 5 games.
Yeah,
so.
I was about to say it's what, a week and a half worth of playing left.
But I mean, they in the playoffs, so it's still possible he could come back.
By the way, Philly was my pick to win the finals this year.
You remember last year? This is a throwback.
Oof, oof.
If y'all followed us back in the day, you know, last year we were talking about coming into this season. Philly is one of the favorites in the East.
Definitely we saying
We
that.
was like top 2, maybe not 2. It's them in
Wrong.
Boston.
Wrong.
That was a cold take. We got a lot of hot takes on the show. That was a cold one. That was
a
freezing.
horrible take
Because Philly just disappoints every year.
every year.
It's something in the
And
water.
then I don't know. That's gonna be a topic for another day. But they got to do something with between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Blow it up.
But talk about the Suns. We was also going to talk about. Oh, so this is something I wanted to ask everybody. Okay, so well, this has kind of been my theme. I feel like the theme of this bubble, and I'm just getting your guys' thoughts on just kind of why y'all think this may be. The theme on the bubble has been upsets. It's been a lot of upsets in the bubble, like, and then everybody's beating everybody. So you got the Lakers, they beat the Clippers, but then they come back and who did they lose to? They lost to who did they lose to yesterday? The other day,
They lost to OKC.
They lost to
but before that,
OKC.
they lost to somebody else.
and they lost to the Raptors.
They lost to the Raptors,
They
yeah.
Raptors. So I guess those are both good teams. But is it like it just seems like nobody is like the top dog other than the
Definitively, yeah.
Suns in this bubble. So do y'all think that's for a reason?
No, the Raptors are undefeated as well.
Are the Raptors undefeated?
Yep.
Okay, well, so the Raptors
Two-time
and the
champs.
Raptors have looked
Coming up.
impressive. 2-time
Maybe.
champ.
I'm hollering.
Is that a take?
It's possible.
Is that a take?
I'm putting it out here right
It's not
now.
happening.
Toronto is making the finals.
Okay, so that's what you pulling for the East?
Where the quote board at?
We need some
Y'all,
post
hey,
notes, for
put that
real.
on a t-shirt on the dog. Write it down. Toronto is going back to the finals. I'm telling you, it's all about matchups.
We'll see, man.
Giannis gonna fold just like he did against the
I think
Rockets.
the team to beat in the East is
Celtics.
Celtics. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure,
Ooh,
for sure.
Celtics was nice last night.
Celtics, when they own, they
I
own.
think they gonna.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You never know if they're gonna stay on.
Christian said Raptors too. All right, Christian.
See,
I don't
Christian,
know.
now you might be on to something. You was capping about TJ, but now I'm kind of feeling what you're talking
Oh
about.
my god.
We'll
Picking
see.
up what you putting down.
I'm smelling what you're cooking.
Well, let's talk. We're gonna touch on that. But so, what do you guys think is the reason with the upsets and kind of just there's a lot of parity in this bubble.
Go for it. You got it.
So I think obviously the hiatus plays a part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your flow either gets disrupted or it gives you a chance to get a flow.
Yeah.
So I think that plays a part, number one. I think number two, some coaches are trying different offenses and different systems like right now. So the Jazz would be one of them. I'm not big on the Jazz. Haven't been all season, but they're trying something new. Quinn Snyder recognized there was a problem. He tried to fix it. It ain't really working, in my opinion. But that's
Yeah,
what happened.
definitely.
And so they trying new things, and teams are trying to figure it out, but it ain't really working. for some teams, or they just still trying to figure it out. And then lastly, I would just say it's giving an opportunity. So some players didn't come back in the bubble. Some players are getting signed because they extended the rosters to 17. So that definitely plays a part. Deion Waiters has been playing big for the Lakers, I would say, for the past couple of games. But then, like, losing LaMarcus Aldridge kind of helped us in the beginning. The San Antonio Spurs, that is. But then the last couple of games, not so much. But DeRozan has taking a different role on this team. So it's just allowed different teams to come up with either the same identities that just got disrupted, or they come up with new identities.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that point. Is they are trying. It does seem like a lot of teams, like even with Denver, even though Denver's been doing pretty good, but they're trying to. All right, appreciate the live studio audience is gone. We appreciate y'all for coming out. We'll send y'all checks in the mail. Thank you.
Next time.
Y'all get 25 cents until y'all contribute to the Cash App and or Patreon.
Yeah.
$ Mero sign. Don't
appreciate
y'all.
But yeah,
wait, we putting that out there. Hold on.
Donations.
$ Young Cheese Whiz. What's the word? Hold on.
Oh my God.
Only the Straight Talk actual
Only,
crew.
right. Come on now.
Guess,
Hold on, look. I'll be in y'all shot too. What's up?
But no,
No,
what I was
like
saying
the
is
Denver
Denver,
lineup.
they trying to. This is, I mean, and they only did an
5-man.
exhibition game.
Exhibition.
Exhibition game.
There we
There you go.
go. There we go.
Speak
Take
on
your
the
time,
pass.
Pastor.
English is hard.
You got it.
English is hard.
Wording is hard. Okay, we
It
need to hear
is.
cousin.
But yeah, so they've only done that during the exhibition games.
Yeah.
They haven't really shown the 5 center look, and we kind of touched on this on our last episode. But I do agree that they are trying.
No, they ran it
Different.
against. They ran it
Did
in
they run it?
spurts against. Who did they play that day? They ran it in spurts last week. I forgot
I think I
who
know
it
what
was
game
they played
you're talking
against, but yeah, they did run it in spurts.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
it's
they've been
interesting.
trying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a good point, AP. They are.
Because that gives you a whole.
Their teams, you can kind of tell, like, even with the Lakers losing, and we can kind of go into this. The Lakers losing the 2 games in a row, for me, I feel like for one, they got the 1 seed.
I don't think they care.
And they're
about
not
the
taking
OKC
it-
game. I
Yeah,
don't think they took that one
don't.
serious.
Yeah, I think
The
it's
Raptors
not
game,
it's not
the
a big
Raptors
deal.
genuinely just outplayed them down the stretch because it was a real close game, and down the stretch the Raptors took off.
Yeah,
But I think that OKC game was a throwaway to them.
yeah, and they already clinched.
We got the 1 seed.
They clinched the 1 seed, and at this point, you're really not playing for anything.
You just
I guess
playing
you're
if
trying
you're
to try exactly. So you're trying to stay. At some point, you're gonna want to have like a warm up playoff game. That's
Right.
probably gonna be the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a good point. So
because yeah,
don't blow up over the fact that the Lakers lost 2 games in a row.
and to AP's point, it's different. It's hard to make adjustments in the middle of the season when we play Tuesday night. We got another game Thursday. It's hard to really make a total
Yeah,
adjustment to
that's
the
true.
playbook or to the lineups and know that it might be effective. Whereas it's been 4 months, and then before the 4 months, you had a couple weeks of practice before anything started. So you had time to try some things, and you had some exhibition games. These don't really matter.
Yeah.
You get to play around with stuff that you don't get to do in the middle of the season when we got a game in 2 nights. Like, we don't have time to try to readjust.
Yep.
So I think it's a product of that and some rust. Bubble luck. Or bubble guts, depending on who
Bubble
your
luck.
team is.
I mean, yeah, that's about how that's going for real.
It's okay, Grizzlies fan. I get it.
See, first of all, what you're not gonna do is do that, okay? Because we definitely had we got the rookie of the year on. our team,
Well, we
so
need
it's
the music.
Right. I can go get my trombone real quick. You know what I'm
So in
saying?
a minute, I'm just finna just go straight across that whole side of the room with this hand because y'all cutting up. But no, for real, I really do think that with the smaller amount of games, they're really just everybody's playing to win, even if they're not winning. But like Adrian said, even the fact that teams are trying different lineups and different things like that, at this point, you just try it all because it's just about already lined up. People
Yeah.
are really just playing for the 8th seed in the West.
That's true.
Everybody else already is in
Pretty
the
safe.
playoffs.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that's gonna be. I think there
that's
could
what
be
it is.
some movement.
Slightly.
There could because I know there's a couple of teams kind of battling for that 2 seed in the
You
West.
know, in the East and the West, that like
that middle
that
part.
4
middle,
through
yeah.
6, that pack is always
and that
a
can
game.
be, and that a lot of times that can be big because matchups are huge.
Mhm.
Especially this season, I feel like the matchups are going to play a big part because
Right.
there's going to be some seeding. Because I know Raptors, I think, are in the 2 seed now
Yeah.
in the East, and in the West, the 2 seed is Clippers,
Mhm.
and I know Clippers are close to kind of falling to the 3 seed. I think
Yeah, because the Nuggets are right on them.
Nuggets are going to overtake them. Yep. So that is a good point as well, Cam. But yeah, I think you guys kind of answered my question because I was trying to figure that out, like why it just seemed like all the teams, it was just a lot of parity. Like nobody was dominating other than the Suns and the Raptors. But
2-time champ.
Bro, cool out.
Let's talk about
conference
this.
champ. 2-time
Let's
conference
talk about
champ.
this. So,
2-time
because I don't even
conference
think we really got into a good, and then it'll be good to get your guys' take on who's going to win. We don't say who going to win. Who going to make it to the finals in the NBA bubble finals? Who y'all got? Who y'all picks? It's a tough question. I know.
I want Cam's answer first because he look like he thinking hard about it. I want to see what he got.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do have that feeling that the Lakers gonna make it. Just because my Grizzlies not even finna make it into the playoffs at this point.
Wait, you thought the Lakers or the Grizzlies gonna have something?
See,
to say
first of
about
all,
the
Josh,
Lakers?
you couldn't even get it out, so I'm gonna need you to stay in your place. That's why you're not on screen right now, okay? Now sit over there.
Okay.
Whoa!
As I was saying,
Spicy.
I definitely can see the right. See the look on his face. But no,
I definitely feel like the Lakers are definitely gonna pull it out on the West. It's gonna be rough, but I really do think they can pull it out. They'll have some long series ahead of them. But coming out of the East, I really feel like the Celtics got it. I can really see it being the Celtics against the Lakers.
Okay. Now that would be fun to see. I
Lakers
would
or
like to
Celtics?
see it. But go ahead, AP. What you got? What you got?
Lakers, Celtics?
So in the sake of consistency,
Ooh.
a friend and I did make a bracket. So if I changed now, it would
Bracket.
seem a little
Right.
flip floppy. All right. So my initial matchup were the Clippers and the Celtics in the finals.
It's not bad. That's solid.
That hurts as a Spurs fan. Trust me, it hurts. But the more I watch the Celtics play, and they
The more I
just
watch it.
can't seem to get it together for they are not
Like I said,
consistent
very on
at
and
all
off.
right now.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks might get it.
Ooh.
And I didn't want to go with them originally because they were the favorites.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing a trend in this friend group right here, and I don't like it necessarily.
A trend of being wrong. We seem to be pretty good at that sometimes.
I ain't never wrong. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Oh my god. Say it again.
Hey, are we were on screen for that, right? Yeah, I'm clipping that. I'm clipping that. I'm clipping that.
Clip it on you.
I'm clipping it, I'm tweeting it. And it's gonna zoom in on my face looking at you full of mess. And it's gonna zoom on you talking about, I'm never wrong.
I'll be getting my
2
my hot
months
takes-
later.
My hot
Whenever.
takes be on point.
Your hot takes
I
be
ain't gonna lie.
trash.
We gonna
No.
use that all the time because you always wrong. Outside of this podcast, you always.
Well, we
you-
ain't
you
even
wrong
gonna get
here.
into the real
But-
life wrongs. We're gonna focus on the bad takes.
Woo!
Now, Josh, before we get to our picks, because we briefly did discuss it, I want to run it back real quick to AP because you mentioned the Bucks getting to the finals.
Yeah.
If they don't, is Giannis still there this time next year?
Ooh. Probably not.
Where is he going? Is my question.
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
where is he going?
I don't want to
curious.
answer that question.
Don't
I
answer the
really
question,
don't.
AP.
I don't want to answer.
He on the Grizzlies.
He ain't going to the Warriors. I just don't see. Well, I said that about KD. Let me not.
Yeah, I ain't never holding it against
I told
nobody.
y'all.
I made,
told y'all
I made a
KD was
presidential election pick
I was
too.
right
We see
about
how
that.
that went.
Yeah.
So
Like you said, we're good at being wrong.
I think it would be interesting to see him on Miami because Miami got space. They got
that's
cap
it.
space.
All right,
We
that's what
talked
you
about
said?
that. We mentioned that last week,
Yeah.
but that wasn't my final pick. Or
I said Miami.
yeah, I think you stuck with Miami.
I don't see the Warriors doing it. They got cap issues.
Yeah.
They gonna have to move somebody.
Yeah, they
Hey,
got.
you know where he going?
Where you going?
The future home of the
Memphis.
2-time Eastern Conference Final champions.
Oh my God.
Here you go with this again.
He going to Toronto, bro. If he leaves Milwaukee, it's Toronto.
Who willingly goes to Toronto?
That's the same thing I said. But
Who wouldn't go when it seems that they've got a proven system?
They got-
Budenholzer is a good coach
they
during
got
the year.
they got Drake now, and they got the entire country.
I don't think Giannis cares about Drake. They always have the entire country, especially after
Hey,
winning.
I think
And
you
then
care
you
about
see,
Drake.
you see that it wasn't a fluke. Kawhi left, and they're still good. They're still really damn good. Look.
That was good before Kawhi.
But they still look. If it was a little more time, the Toronto Raptors could have hawked them for that number 1 seed. First of all, but you see that this improving system with not only the coach but the way they play ball as a unit, it's ridiculous. The hockey passes, the hockey assists, they at the top because they move that ball non-stop. The other night they had a possession. I think it was like 8
10
passes.
passes, I seen
Yeah,
it.
10 passes and like 2 dribbles. They was moving that thing. They scoring. I'm telling you, that's a great fit.
So let me
You know
ask
you walking
this.
into a good situation.
Let me ask you this: if
Conference
Philly-
finals coming up. Giannis coming soon. If they don't make the finals, wait on it.
we need tons of posters
Oh,
tonight.
this
we
is
need
all.
so many posters tonight. But if Philly decides to blow it up, are they an option?
Hell no. Why the hell would I go to Philadelphia? Y'all can't win with people. You gonna blow it up and bring me in, and that's gonna
if they
change?
blow, but no, if they blow up, they would have to get rid of Embiid.
Yeah, you
Get
can't
rid-
have a
you
rim
can do-
runner
I-
and
I-
Embiid. And I mean, that's the same thing.
It's
They
kind
can
of the
shoot,
same.
He can step out though.
though. He's a little.
Nah,
He might do
that's
things
not
a little
fit
more
for me.
effective as far as the,
That would
the
be stupid.
paint running goes,
If-
but
I think, like you said,
Why
if
trade
Philly
out Ben
couldn't get it
Simmons
right
for-
with Embiid and Ben Simmons, then
They
'Cause
skill
now you
sets
lose
don't
it.
match though.
Hmm?
They skill. They
but I'm
skill
saying
sets don't-
okay. So Ben Simmons,
it
Might
should.
be a better
I feel like
playmaker.
they should be good on the pick and
Giannis
roll.
is a better slasher. Ben is the better playmaker. You really you losing playmaking for better slashing, but there's still a beast that's sitting in the paint, and you just driving and taking up my space. I can't post up when all you do is drive and dunk. Giannis don't shoot for real yet. So what's the point?
I don't think Philly's.
It wouldn't make sense to me.
Like I said, if they couldn't get it done with
If you're
what they
going
got
east,
now,
if you staying east, Miami is in my top 2. It's not 2.
but it is too.
I don't know, because I feel like
You just said
Miami is the
Toronto.
strong one, but I'm sticking with it. Miami is number 2. Toronto is my favorite if he stays in the East.
Wait.
If he go west, If he go west, he gonna throw me a curveball because I don't know where he would go.
You know where he going if he go west. I think we all can say
I'm gonna go
if
on
he
record
goes
right
west,
here.
To
Hold
the
on.
probably gonna
Grizzlies.
be the-
I'm-
To the Grizzlies.
Stop.
That's it. He's going to the Grizzlies. Bro, hey, everybody going to the Grizzlies.
Why do you think he's going to the Grizzlies?
Hey, bro.
We got the rookie of the year, bro. I'm telling you.
And?
We got the rookie of the year. That team got the space, bro. They could do some numbers. They can do a little something. I'm telling you, bro. It's the Grizzlies.
I don't think nobody
Hey,
wants
camera,
to.
let's just pull it back over this way where it matters. But look, disregarding all of that.
Ain't gonna be no rev next week.
let me just put this on record right now. If Giannis goes to the Warriors, Straight Talk is done. I will never sit next to this man and do a
I didn't
podcast
do
again.
anything.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm branching out Otis on his own. Okay.
Otis over here. Wait, we got Otis over here.
I'm the new
Ain't
Otis.
nobody come to see you, Otis.
They gonna come to see me because ain't nobody gonna want to hear his mouth about the Warriors if Giannis go. But back to the original topic at hand. Who going, Josh? Who going to the finals?
I'm going with the Clippers.
He wanted to say Warriors. You can see it in his face.
He was gonna come out like they coming out of
I'm
nowhere.
going with the Clippers and the Celtics.
Clippers
I think,
and Celtics?
who said that? AP, you said that? AP said that. I'm going with the Clippers and the Celtics. I think
Hmm.
I like the Celtics, and I think it's gonna be a fun series for sure. But I think Jason Tatum is probably one of the top. He's gonna be the next tier, or not next tier, next group of superstars in the NBA.
For sure.
Jaylen Brown
Yeah.
might be. He's going to be in
No, for
consideration.
sure.
He's going to be in
For sure.
consideration for one of the. He might not be a superstar. I could see him being like a really great all-star kind of player. Not a superstar. There's a difference between
Like
all-star.
a
I
Joe
would say-
Johnson type cat.
Kind of like I can give you that. Joe Johnson was never a superstar,
No,
but he was a super
because I
good
think
all-star.
Jaylen Brown has just as much potential as Tatum. Tatum gets more attention and he does sometimes get more touches to show it.
But Tatum is more consistent.
Jaylen
than
Brown has
Jaylen
just
Brown's
as much
not
potential.
consistent.
So here it is with the Celtics, right? That's Jason Jordan. Okay, you feel me? And Jalen Pippen. That's what it is. He's still always gonna be really solid, but I don't think he ever gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
He got more potential than.
I wouldn't call Jaylen Brown Scottie Pippen though.
If you're not gonna give him top tier like you should, then you might as well give him right under it.
But Scottie Pippen was top tier.
I would give it to him then.
Yeah.
I would give it to him.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Jaylen Brown, he disrespectful, bro.
I'm not disrespecting you. I mean,
He doesn't think he'll be anything more than Joe Johnson. Let that sink in.
I'm not saying
No,
Joe
but you
Johnson
said it.
wasn't bad though.
Joe Johnson was
He
a
also
perennial
was never
all-star.
okay, but he all right, whatever. Y'all
He
got
was
it.
in the All-Star game.
Y'all got it.
What you
Yeah,
saying? He was
couple-
never what? What you
Y'all
saying?
got it. Anyway,
I'm just saying he's not going to be... Scottie Pippen's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I mean,
That's
I wouldn't say necessarily Jason Tatum's a Hall of Famer. He's gonna win 6 rings. It was for the sake of comparison.
No, okay.
Like he may be the better player
I
of
get
the
what
two,
you're saying
but
in
they're
that
still
team. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, as far as the team, my
Like,
bad.
let's bring
my
it
bad.
back, 'cause
That's,
y'all-
you're right. We did have a couple comments I wanted to shout out.
Y'all tweaking,
Christian
folk.
said Raptors and Clippers are going to the
He's halfway right
finals.
because the Houston. No, honestly,
And then we see you, Gary. He said he was laughing at y'all talking about me correcting my real life wrongs.
Yeah. See, Gary know what's up.
I don't know
Gary
what
know
you're
what's
talking
up. Toronto is going to the finals.
Here we go.
Toronto's going to the finals. And ain't nobody going to like it because they don't want to hear it. They're going to think that
I
it's going to
wouldn't
be the
mad.
Celtics.
I just don't think they're gonna do it.
Everybody got money on the Celtics. You're a fool at this point if you still believe in Philadelphia, so let's scratch them off. Toronto. If it ain't Boston, it's going to be Toronto, basically. To me, that's it.
I'll give you that.
I would
I'll
give
give you
you
that.
that.
As far as the West goes, I said to him last week, I just got this feeling. I got this feeling about both LA teams. One of them is going to get knocked out in a weird way, and we're going to be like, wow, like we really thought they was going to go far. And I got a
That ain't gonna be
feeling.
the better one.
That's a good take. That's
One,
a good
I don't,
take.
and I don't know who to put my money on as far as who gets upset because it depends on the matchups.
Yep. So
But-
if it's not them, then who is gonna be? Go ahead and say it. You kind of circling around this take. Go ahead and say it. Then play it.
It's gonna be the Houston. It's gonna be the Houston Rockets.
Oh my god.
No, honestly though,
Billy said that too, by the way.
he said the Houston
He
Rockets.
said Houston versus one of the East teams. I don't know, but he said either the Lakers or Rockets. But that's just because everybody picking Houston is a fanboy of Houston. So we're
No,
not
but
taking
look,
y'all
but it's
serious.
possible. It's possible.
It's not possible.
Anything is possible.
It's not.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
Y'all see
LeBron
what?
tear his groin tomorrow. What's gonna happen?
Hey, but pull
Paul
out.
George's shoulders
Pull out.
start hurting
I don't
again
know.
next week.
How we just gonna throw out injuries? Talking about obviously
Because look, nobody would have said Toronto was gonna beat the Warriors last year until KD got hurt. Until Clay tore his knee apart. Nobody would have really thought the Raptors was gonna beat that team. They thought it'd be good, but they didn't
But
think
you
they was
don't
gonna
you
win.
don't talk about that before.
All
you
I'm
don't
saying is
predict that.
anything can happen between now and the finals. So
Yeah,
anything is
can
possible.
happen. Anybody can win it.
Especially with the offensive output that the Houston Rockets can
Everybody
do.
can catch
It's
coronavirus
possible.
and
Okay, well let's not
Josh,
jinx the
wait
bubble.
a minute.
One
That-
man
everyone's-
getting, one man
everyone's
getting
a whole
injured
bubble.
is different from the whole bubble going away. Let's relax. But you have a point. No, honestly, I'm gonna go Nuggets. Nuggets, Toronto.
How you just say
Nuggets?
something about
Nuggets.
both LA teams and then you say
Well, he said
Yeah,
both
you
LA
say the
teams. He
Nuggets.
said both LA teams would. One of the two would lose.
I just
in
feel like
some
one of
weird
them,
way
yeah.
In the beginning.
So it's hard for me to. I don't know. It's gonna happen. I just
so
feel it
they
in my
beat-
bones.
They beating both LA teams. If either one get knocked out, they beating both of them. They beating the Lakers and they beating the Clippers.
It's the potential
Look,
to have to
man,
go
look.
against.
Just saying.
I don't know who to have faith in the West because I don't trust none of them.
Oh,
How
my
you
God.
go? You did all that just to
Right.
say that Denver. You went from LA
This is a
teams.
hot
All
take.
8 teams.
This is a hot take.
You went from LA.
You all for hot
to
takes
Denver,
tonight. I mean, the table
or
on
to
fire.
Houston. I'm thinking you're gonna pick Houston.
It's
Excited,
hot.
excited.
And
Hey,
then you
hit,
say,
hit the fire on him.
Okay,
Then
can
you
I
say
ask a
Denver.
question?
Ask me a question,
Can I
sir.
ask a question? Why don't nobody believe in the Bucks? Because ain't nobody said the Bucks.
That's true.
I
I was
don't-
thinking about that too.
I think the same thing will happen to them. First of all, depending on the matchup, I think that what you can expose, especially in a 7-game series,
Uh-huh.
you eventually can expose the fact that if we can prevent him from constantly running to the rim, or like the other night, it actually worked out kind of in Houston's favor, but Brook Lopez decided to play like he did in Brooklyn. But if it weren't for him, they let Giannis do everything he wanted. Chris Middleton got his, but nobody else on that team was doing anything. So in the playoffs, in the 7-game series, if you can either limit how often Giannis gets there, or just let Giannis put up his 40 if he wants to, but if can't nobody else do nothing, they not going nowhere.
Billy said Clippers not going because they going to Magic City. They win the first round.
Yes,
They gonna be out there
sir.
with that boy Lou.
He said the
Need
whole
that 10
team
piece.
just trying to get some wings.
Whole team on
That
it.
10
Whole
piece.
squad on that reel.
That 10 piece.
Chuck said they there for he was there for legs and thighs.
Boy playing for real chicken pizza, not no wings.
Oh man, that's
It's me.
hilarious.
I'm like I said, I just have a hard time putting my faith in
So
them.
how you
And I
get to
definitely ain't
Denver?
putting my
Then
faith in
Denver,
Milwaukee.
where you get Denver from?
It's just I feel like they there, man. They close. They one good series away.
I mean, in his defense, we were just watching some of the Denver game, and Denver was looking kind of nice.
They was losing.
Look, they still was looking
I mean,
nice
they
as
was
a
looking nice.
as a unit. They were looking nice.
As a unit, they look good. They play good team ball, and then they have a couple different weapons that you don't always expect. Michael Porter Jr., people forget how good he is because he doesn't always get consistent
they
clock or
forgetting
touches.
Right.
But now he's starting to remind people, hold on, this young man is a bucket. I forgot just because he had a hurt back and he fell in the draft, don't mean he ain't good. Bo showed a little bit of, hey, I still can't play. People forgot I can play because I hurt my foot or whatever, but I can still play. So Denver's got a couple options. They got a couple weapons. They all are athletic and lanky in that deadly long, that big man lineup. Pause. There's a whole bunch of athletes. So a whole bunch of defense.
I would just
so
say
it's possible, depending on their matchups. I feel like the Nuggets might be able to take advantage and make it.
I would just say it's too early for Denver. I think Denver is like, for me, a couple years ago, they were what the Celtics were a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because they got all this young talent. They do kind of have a superstar player because Boston had Kyrie.
We don't like to talk about those days, right?
They had Kyrie, so they had a superstar, and that's what Denver got. They got Jokic. He's a superstar in the league. Best, probably top
who was
2 centers in the league.
What did Pop say? He's Larry Bird.
Yeah,
something
reincarnated.
Yeah, I'm like, Pop, you got some solid takes, but I don't know about that.
He get buckets.
He ain't Larry.
I don't know if he Larry.
I wouldn't.
But I think so. I think it's just too early for Denver. That's why I wouldn't say Denver. Denver is gonna be in the running in the next couple years. They got some great young team. Great young
They're gonna
talent.
make some noise. In the
You know why I
playoffs
say
this
it's?
year.
I just
always
don't, I
feel
think
like
it's too
anything is
early, and it was
possible.
too early for Boston. We found that out. Even though they made the Game 7 in the conference finals, it was just too early. They wasn't ready for LeBron.
Yeah, they definitely weren't ready. They
And-
lucked up that year and it worked out well.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reason I say it's never too early, or I don't put it past anybody, because you have a team like Portland, they can constantly get swept out of the playoffs, and then one year they make it to the conference finals. So you never really know. Depending on how they play that year, depending on the matchups they get, a team that you don't expect to really go anywhere can go all the way, or they could go absolutely nowhere. So you never really know. Because the one year they looked real good, and the Pelicans destroyed them. So you never really know. Sometimes with basketball.
This is the real reason you want Denver to go. Because your hot take was Toronto.
See, if they get Toronto, that's a dub.
It makes sense now.
That's what it is.
Got you.
I mean, if the
you want
Lakers
Toronto
make
to
it,
get the cupcake team of the West.
even if the Lakers make it, the Lakers, I'm scared of every home game because LeBronto is a real thing. He really goes in.
But they're not in Toronto.
Ain't no home game.
That's right. They in the bubble,
They
so
in the
Toronto got it.
bubble.
Then he can't do that little LeBronto trick.
All right, I don't believe.
All right, you know what?
But no,
You know what? Lakers, Raptors.
Ooh.
But if the Nuggets make
You
it,
just go
don't say I was
backpedal.
wrong.
How you just
So
back?
right,
Everybody
he
knew the
changed
Nuggets
all
was
the way
BS.
he had.
Everybody knew the Nuggets
Oh,
was
my
BS.
God.
It was a curveball.
For what you're saying, for what it's worth, I really do feel like this season is one of those just weird seasons where anything
Anything
can
can
happen.
happen.
It's-
For sure.
And besides, they're at Disney World.
No,
Bro,
no fans.
It's a world of magic,
No home
bro.
court.
It's a world of
Anything is
magic.
possible.
In the words of JR, Henny team. But no,
Henny
for real,
team.
it is one of those deals where it's kind of like this is March Madness
Yeah.
type of deal. It's like anybody can make it. Anybody can really win because right now, as we're seeing in these, we 4 games in the bubble already. Everybody losing that you would have thought would have been winning. So anybody can win, anybody can lose. I feel like a lot of these series
It's
are
real
really
up in the air this year.
a lot of these series are really finna go all the way to the end. So
I think this
Never.
season more than ever it is. It's kind of a
It's
toss up,
a-
especially
you
with the
never know.
bubble. If it was a regular season with the bubble, I think it is a toss up, and we'll see. We don't know how everything's gonna play out with the bubble. We don't know as far as like injuries. Like we talked about, Mr. Gallagher was talking about the injuries in the last
Yeah.
episode.
We've
That can
already
play a
seen a
part
couple
this
injuries.
year. Yeah.
I mean, and this will be a smooth time to, in a couple minutes, transition to the WNBA, which we're supposed to talk about. Sabrina, in her second game,
Yeah.
got an injury.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons just got an injury. Jimmy Butler is currently sitting with an ankle injury out there.
Jonathan Isaac.
Did they confirm it's his ACL?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
so you know what I'm saying? It's really anything is still possible. And like I said, without fans, without a home court, it's a lot of things that people typically feed off of, or the teams feed off of, or at least that's what we think as fans, that they don't have this year.
So then let's hit the lower end of the Western bracket then.
Mm-hmm.
that's not.
Mavericks, Houston, OKC.
I don't like that when you went lower, Houston was the second to low. Like I
They
need them to be.
7 seed, ain't they?
Shut up. I need. Hey, look, first of all,
Who
before we move on, I was ready to be all like Shannon Sharp level LeBron jersey goat mask about the Rockets in his face because he disrespected them and they won back to back. And then they ended up losing to freaking Portland, and it pisses me off. I was so ready. I was going to expedite.
But that's what I was gonna say. As far as the Rockets, I don't like the Rockets. I shouldn't. I came out a little strong.
Yeah, you
I was a little strong.
Get it off your chest.
Say it with your chest.
Get it off your chest.
That's not what
I
I
don't
mean.
like the Rockets.
That's not what I mean. I don't like their chances simply because in the playoffs, I don't think the small ball is going to work. Going back to that Portland game, even a center like Nurkic. Nurkic is not like a top center. He has the potential.
No,
to
he
be.
definitely
He has the potential
close the
to
potential.
be.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago, AP. We
That's
talked
what
about
he
this.
be saying. He puts you
yeah.
on game. He's not at his full potential yet, but he was dominating
Yeah.
Portland, and I just don't feel. I feel like with all the top
Brooke
teams,
Lopez in that Bucks game.
all the
he
top
dominated.
teams in the West have a center
Yeah.
that can dominate in the post, and it's just like buckets. Like, what can you do? And then he was just rebounding the hell out of the ball. They can't really get rebounds.
Yeah.
Like, they can play team defense. They can, like, if they
They're
really, try
really
to
good at
clamp up.
rotating and everything, but like you
can,
said, that
yeah.
hold down at the 5 is kind of hard.
It's
to
hard.
overcome.
It's tough on them.
Especially
and
if those threes don't fall.
that was just
If those
putting-
threes stop falling, it's
Portland-
bread and butter in the paint.
Portland was just exactly, and then you live by 3, die by 3. And Portland was just jacking up shots, like
Yeah.
how Dame does. And Nurkic was just down there, getting the board,
Right.
tipping it back up. Especially,
Right.
I think they don't match, and they definitely don't match up well against Portland because Portland is big. They got 3
Yeah.
centers that they play at the same time, basically for the most part.
Mhm.
And it wouldn't be a good matchup against Denver either. So that's my thing.
That's the
against
one
them.
we want to see, though.
I would like to see that. Would be
I
kinda
really want to see
interesting.
that.
It would be
That
fun.
like average of 7 feet tall lineup versus the average
would
of
like
like
to see that.
6'6".
series.
I think the Rockets are.
I don't
But
wanna
back
see
to your
that.
point about the bottom. the
bottom,
conference.
the bottom tier team.
I think what you said about the Nuggets is how I feel about the Mavericks. I feel like they're talented as hell, but they're just too young.
Too
They're not
young.
ready.
I agree. They're too young too.
I mean, because that boy Doncic is a problem,
He's a problem.
and Porzingis is disgusting.
Next.
But they just not.
Next best player in the league, probably.
Who the first?
No, I'm saying
He's
the
in-
next.
Oh, okay,
After
okay.
the
I was gonna
current,
say he is the no.
next generation. Next
No more
generation.
hot takes. No more hot takes. No, he's at the top of the next generation for sure because he's proven to be consistent. It wasn't a freshman fluke. He's
Right.
still solid and getting better.
Getting better. Oh my
Oh,
God, he
he
a
is-
bucket.
Man. Anyway, look. Who at the bottom? There's Mavericks.
OKC.
Any team that plays in Texas.
Houston,
We ain't gonna talk about the Spurs. I don't want to.
Spurs.
I know it's a
Are we
soft-
talking
it's a
about
hard
teams that aren't in the playoffs?
Right now,
We're
it's
talking
not,
about teams that's actually gonna do something.
right now it's not so hard because LaMarcus is sitting, so like I know what to expect right now.
Fair, that's fair.
So it's not so hard. It is what it. We are finally allowing the next generation. I'm just waiting on Pop to like give them the reins. Let them go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Daria had a good point. She said, "So are you saying they need a big man like Giannis? So you talking about Houston? Houston? I mean, it's okay. You here too?
Daria is our producer. As
You
you
got
can see,
producer on it,
neither
man.
one of us are trying to click things and
Yeah.
multitask.
Hands-free.
We got
the
a
producer.
third
We
hand.
appreciate you also commenting, Daria. You know what I'm saying?
Real MVP.
So
in the
Houston.
studio.
Nobody said Houston. Could Giannis go to Houston?
No.
No.
First of all, him and James Harden will never play together. As much as they
That's
downplay
true.
it as a like,
That's true.
oh, is this or that?
don't like each other.
don't like each other, which is really dumb. It's not to me. If
fine.
it's over the MVP, it's
fine
really
with me.
kind of
They
stupid.
competitive.
I don't have a problem with you disliking players. Like I'm
I
all
think,
for
but I
it,
think that's
because
all
we're
it
in a
is.
real
They just
buddy NBA.
competitive.
But
I
I don't
think
ever
it's-
see them playing together. And Giannis doesn't fit anything about that team.
I mean, he could dominate the paint. Why they all shooting threes?
He's just a slightly.
No, he fits the team just because. I mean, they motto is
You don't go
shoot
from
threes and go.
you don't go from Bud to D'Antoni. You just don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
Probably.
Well, D'Antoni ain't gonna be there next year. I think if this is his last year on the deal.
It better be his last. I'm sorry.
Which that's really what
I
I'm
do
looking
not
forward
like
to.
D'Antoni.
Which is for another year, but that's what I'm really eager to see because I think they're done with him after this year. So where do they go as a team, as a culture moving forward?
D'Antoni?
Yeah, the Rockets.
Oh.
I think this is D'Antoni's last year.
Not if they win.
In that case, welcome back, D'Antoni, because that boy
Is
gonna
that
be
why
back.
they went all out
So
with
like
the
you
small
said, that's the
ball?
last. Right. That's the last. That's basically.
Anyway, moving forward, like I said a couple minutes ago, we're gonna segue into the WNBA because it's about that time.
It's about that time. And
So first and foremost,
go ahead.
definitely disappointed about Sabrina getting injured. Hopefully, she makes a speedy recovery. She is such a beast, and I was so
She was getting buckets
excited to see
in
her
the first
finally in the
2
league.
games of her career.
And she was going crazy. So excited! I was happy to see her in the league.
Her
'cause
team
she was good.
I ain't gonna lie, her team
couldn't
sucked
wait.
though. They
No,
was
the
getting blown
Liberty
out.
year. The Liberty.
But they're an expansion team.
Exactly.
First year.
So I guess this is her first. No, this wasn't the first season. They've been in the league a couple years, I think. A couple years. I'm not sure.
Yeah. it's a small sample size.
I think
but-
I think this is like their second season because the Aces. I think they introduced the Aces and the
third
Liberty.
Third.
Oh, the
Yeah.
third season. Oh, okay, thank you, research department / producer. slash producer.
Oh my god.
Uh,
We love you, Derek.
So yeah, they've been in the league for a while, but yeah, they're garbage. And but she was still getting buckets. I know she got like 30 in the first game, and they lost by 30. I was like,
so
oh my God.
solid. So solid.
Trash.
And apparently Steph called her after the game, gave her some pointers and everything. So that's also nice to see as far as, because it's a sad thing that NBA fans and just in general people disrespect the WNBA so much, but you see how much love that the people in the league, I should say
Say-
the league,
say-
in the NBA,
And they talk about
the
how
male
much,
counterpart,
how much they be hooping over there.
they talk
do.
about how good the women in that league are. They be repping them. I tried to get one of the sweatshirts the other night, but I guess after you see pictures of people in the league wearing them, everybody
They sold
wanted
out.
one. So
Yeah,
now
I was
they're
trying to
sold
get
out.
one too.
So I was real disappointed because I was trying to wait until hoodie season to buy one, and then now they sold out.
They gone.
Anyway,
4XL. You can catch me in 4XL. No time soon.
swimming in it. But stop it. This is a family show. So going back though, what I really want to get down to is who's your favorite WNBA team? Cameron don't watch TV at all, really.
Right, I'm about to say, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Cameron hardly watch NBA games. He ain't.
Right, I'm just
He live in
here.
the box.
I'm just here. But no, for real. We actually just had this conversation earlier. Me, Josh, and Adrian before Romero got here. We were talking about teams, and I actually didn't realize the amount of teams in the WNBA. I really thought it was like more than 20. I didn't realize there was like 12.
It used
Yeah.
to be.
But yeah, and that's what we got down to.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, the Sparks and the Dream are the two teams that I always hear about. But to say I have a favorite, I mean, Candace Parker is my girl, so I'm gonna always go with the Sparks. But
The beauty.
People do that with
Hey, the GOAT.
basketball NBA teams all the
true,
time.
always.
Which I feel like is fair. I thought about that the other day when we were talking about this in our group chat with Daria. Like, I feel like people pick their favorite NBA team based off of
They do.
this
favorite
player is
player.
attractive or whatever, or this is my favorite player. So,
Wrong.
am I wrong for saying that?
She said wrong.
I hope y'all can hear
I
me.
have had plenty of people say I'm
Right.
rooting for this
People
team
do all the
because
time. people are
so-and-so is
bandwagon
fine.
Lakers fans.
I was about to say, we
because of
just
LeBron.
had this conversation with
Yeah.
Justin, because Justin, who's just in here, just said that the Lakers are his favorite
People
team.
are fans
And
of
Adrian
whatever
Justin
team LeBron goes
definitely had to ask, was he a Lakers fan or a LeBron fan? He was
Yeah.
like,
Justin.
no.
I'm
No,
a Lakers
no,
fan.
he was just
Justin
standing
Fields.
there.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm definitely a Lakers fan. I'm not a LeBron fan at all. I'm a Lakers fan. So
Yeah.
some people have a favorite team and some people have a favorite player. And wherever that player goes, that's the team they root for. That's why I root for the Lakers now, because of LeBron.
Right.
I'm always rock with the Grizzlies because that's my team. But wherever LeBron is at, that's how it works.
It's your team.
Fair.
So if Candace
fair.
Parker got traded from the Sparks, I'm still have to go wherever she goes.
He said, I'm putting on my book bag. We going with Candace.
That's
Hey,
fair. I mean,
that commercial when LeBron was in Miami, he was swimming, he was on the bike, everybody was behind him. Where we going, LeBron? Where we going? What's next?
Christian got a good pick with the Lynx. He said Lynx is not bad. That's a good pick. I
No,
like
the
that
links
pick.
are good. I do like the links.
And we were just talking about they don't even have Maya Moore.
Yeah.
And Maya
It's been
Moore,
said
I
all.
feel like, is probably one of the more dominant players. Probably
Oh, for sure.
the
She's
top
up there.
2 or 3 most dominant players in the league.
She's up there.
Because as soon as she came to the league, they went to the championship after being
Yeah.
bad.
No.
But
Maya Moore is the truth.
AP go ahead and give you your top pick for the W.
Well, similar to Candace Parker, that's fam, so I have no choice.
That's because of.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I have no choice.
All right.
But to be a Sparks fan in some capacity, I do like the potential of the Seattle Storm, though.
Yeah.
I rock with them.
I like Seattle. Rihanna is
Right? A problem.
cold.
Yeah, a problem.
Cold.
Yep.
So I'm gonna roll with them for now, but Candace again. Cause
What do you
Man.
do?
shout out to me.
I
You
live.
want me to go?
What you got,
I'm
Baby
gonna go.
Josh?
I got you know what I'm saying? So I got Phoenix.
Okay.
You gonna pick them too? I know everybody's gonna pick them. I know.
They hot right now.
No, but
It's
I've
not even 'cause
always
they
been a
hot.
fan of Diana Taurasi.
I mean, yeah, because
She is the
for
GOAT.
Me, you got the GOAT. You got Diana Taurasi. Can't go wrong with that.
You got Boogie Cousins' twin sister down
You
there
got
too.
Brittany Griner, who's a
Oh,
who's a
my
beast.
God.
Probably one of the next
You are terrible.
most dominant players in the league.
For sure.
And then
Who is
you got
Really?
No. She came off the
Skylar
bench the
Diggins.
other day.
Skylar
Skylar Diggins
Diggins.
does play for them now,
you got Skylar Diggins.
and I've always been a fan of Skylar's
so,
game.
but that's not even it for me.
That's bad.
That's not it.
He got one
What's
more.
the name?
I got
Tell
one
me.
more on you. They got Sophie Cunningham, MIZ baby. She put Mizzou on their back For 4 years, she was
her
a
back.
hooper.
On
her back?
Yeah, did you see how close the phone got?
She
You
put it
brought
on
it
her
in
back.
from the what flow?
Sophie
Alright.
Cunningham,
If I
I
can
see
just,
she balling.
If I can have a word from our
Kinda,
producer,
sorta.
if you could just scream out who came off the bench balling the other day, because her name is escaping me. I was tweeting about it. Yeah, go ahead, pull up the
Research
Twitter page.
team.
Come on,
You can
research.
follow us on
Appreciate
Twitter.
you.
Because I can't remember her name, but man, she was
Hey, young
playing
kid,
out of her
Reese.
mind the other night off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's right there, but I can't pull it out.
Can't
Anyway,
remember
if you're
her
watching
name.
the games like you should be, as committed basketball fans, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. She came off the bench, had 20-something, almost 30, I think.
25 points, 4 assists, something like that.
Okay, with the
25
research.
points.
25.
25 and 4.
Also,
Okay, we see you.
the thing I looked at the other day watching that game, the Mercury actually played the Liberty.
Mm.
The thing I noticed the other day about that game, first of all, Brittany Griner had 4 fouls in the first half. I think
yeah, we
she
talked
had 4 or 5 in the first half.
Yeah.
They were blowing the Liberty out. Griner sits. It becomes a close game again.
She
Like,
dominated. boy. There's nothing you can do.
sometimes forget how much impact she has on the
Can't do nothing with
game
her.
until she sat out for so long because she was in foul trouble. That the New York Liberty slipped right back up from being down 20, almost 30, to being like 2 points down, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
They caught all the way up almost. Griner comes back in, they ended up losing by 30. Like,
Hartley.
Hartley.
Bria Hartley.
Bria Hartley.
Okay.
She was
She
balling.
was hooping.
Get a name
Phoenix-
right.
I do think
Right.
I remember
Put
that.
some respect on her name.
Right.
Respect it.
If you ain't gonna say her name, keep it to yourself.
All right.
Facts.
Say like that. But they were balling.
Iggy.
I've been.
Oh.
Gonna leave it alone.
Whoa,
Name
whoa, 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 whoa,
Wait a
whoa,
minute.
whoa, wait a
Oh,
I just
minute.
play.
God.
I just play.
No,
Yeah.
but I've watched the Mercury for
He don't like that
years.
name, by the way. Sorry.
Because he not
Andre.
good, yeah.
I've watched the Mercury for years. Always been a fan of. Like I said, Tarasi is like, she's up there GOAT status
I
as far as the
would-
WNBA goes.
My
I mean, as
play-
far as basketball goes in general, she's just so solid.
Yeah,
Big
my player has
Consistent
always
for
been
years.
Maya Moore. So I would have said
Yeah,
Minnesota,
Maya, I really love
but
her
she's
game.
not playing.
Exactly.
So had she been playing, I probably would have still picked. Even though I like Sophie Cunningham, you're not topping Maya Moore. Maya Moore for me is like the Jordan. And then it's crazy that she's not playing. But as soon as she come back, I guarantee you they're gonna be a top team and they probably
Yeah.
gonna contend for the final. That's how much of a bucket she like.
She is a bucket. And I think, and man, for real, honestly though, like, genuinely, while we're talking about this, really consider trying to catch these WNBA games. Like I said, because I was talking to somebody on Twitter the other day through our Twitter page. If you can drown out the noise of the internet and all the trolls bad mouthing the WNBA, telling all these trash jokes about women and all of that, the WNBA has so much talent. Some of these teams are so much deeper than you realize. Whereas the NBA, there's a lot of teams that feels like if these two guys weren't playing,
They'd be nobody.
they're nobody. But the WNBA has some teams and some women on these rosters that like everybody's next man up. They're ready.
For
They're
sure.
all so good.
And Derry even pointed out Aja Wilson, top 2.
Yeah.
She's not 2. Aja Wilson is a
Yeah,
hooper.
this is true. Like we
and,
talked about
and
with the
she's
Storm
on
earlier.
and she's on
Brianna.
the same team with Lizzie.
Oh,
Liz
yeah.
Cambridge. They on the same team, so they on the Aces and they got a shot for sure. I like
And aside from
Mercury's
being a bucket,
chances.
Liz is fine.
Um,
But that's beside the point. That's beside the point.
Yeah.
Liz is my woman crush. If I
Is
was
she?
like a foot tall and I had money, I'd try to holler at her.
Why you gotta have money? Who said she? Good right.
And she ain't gonna mess with no. Well, never mind. Never mind.
Oh.
Never mind.
Go ahead,
Don't
pull
get
out
never
your
mind.
yourself in
side.
trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Never mind. Let's have a word from our sponsors. No. Anyway.
You going with the hot takes tonight?
Cut.
Moving on.
All right. So look. Anyway, like I said, though, let that be your PSA for the day.
Yeah.
Tune into the WNBA next time you see it on TV. Just watch a couple minutes of the game. I guarantee you won't be disappointed, especially if you love the game of basketball. You're gonna enjoy the game because there's a lot more. People talk about the less athleticism with it being women, ain't nobody dunking, doing all this and that. But that means the fundamentals are even more solid.
Pure.
So if you're a pure basketball fan, you're gonna love it.
A lot of their games are on ESPN too, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
ESPN 2, they get a lot of those. And especially they're in the bubble too, so there's games coming all throughout the day. Sometimes
Every
2,
day.
3, 4 games a day. So
I kind of like this
Yeah.
bubble life where it's just like a game
it's
is going every
literally
day.
March Madness
I'm
style.
telling
Like you
you,
could
yes,
be in the
it's
middle of the
ball
day, it's 1 o'clock, and it's a game going on. I love it.
Yeah, Christian said the girl from Oregon, that's Sabrina. That's what we was talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know, you might have
Sabrina.
missed it. We talked about Sabrina. She got hurt. She sprained her ankle in the second game. Pretty high sprain. She's like Steph in that.
Like
She's like
grade
Steph.
three or
That's what
something.
Steph was giving her advice on.
About the ankle.
About the ankle sprains.
Support your ankles.
Yeah. Gotta need that.
Don't wear them under.
But what else was we gonna be talking
Don't wear
about?
them Under Armour shoes. He got her wearing Nikes.
We gonna talk about this Kawhi thing that we was mentioning earlier.
What about it?
Woo!
What did I miss?
We gonna double it back off camera.
Okay, I'll bring it up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I was late, y'all. I got off work at 7 o'clock, so I don't know what
earlier,
happened.
I had asked the question:
Okay.
if Kawhi wins the chip this year, is he
Oh.
top 5?
Oh yeah, you did bring
Remember
that.
that? And then I think there was a little miscommunication. I think people thought he was top 5 right now, and people saying like, yeah, definitely. I was like, no, top 5 all time. So
Top 5 all time?
if he wins this year, wins Finals MVP this year, is he top 5 all time?
Top 5 all time. I wouldn't say he's top 5 all time at all. I would say he's. It's honestly pretty tough, just because it's so much. I don't know if he's done enough to be top 5 all. He wouldn't be top 5 all time. I think that's kind of crazy, because he ain't really dominated the league long enough to be top 5 all time. How old is he right now? Is he still? He's under 30, correct?
I think so.
He's under 30. So but I mean, just one more championship doesn't put him in top 5. I think he would have to kind of dominate the league for a little bit longer. So, even if he won a championship, it doesn't have to be this year, but say he won a championship within the next couple years, but throughout that time, he's consistently been a top player in the league, like the top player in the league, that would put him in the top 5. But you gotta like dominate the league for a considerable amount of time. Like LeBron's been dominating the league for the entire 2010s, and even before then, he's been undeniably top 5 player in the league throughout the entire time. So I mean, for me, Kawhi has only been kind of even in consideration for the last 2 or 3 years. Maybe the last year he got hurt, or the year he got hurt with the Spurs. Welcome back.
I tried to step in the production booth,
I got you.
back doing what I used to do, but
we
we
got you,
gotta work on some things.
But I had to acknowledge it, because I just act like you didn't just come in.
But act like you weren't just gone.
Right. But so what I'm saying is, he's got to dominate a little bit more in order for you to be considered top 5 all time. Top 5 in the NBA
Whoa.
right now. If he wins the championship, I know that's what I'm saying. If he wins the championship this year, though, he's going to be the number 1 player in the league, though. That's what I would say. That's the question.
I want to
though.
know, where did top 5 all time originate?
That's what AP's question was, and that's what his point was.
Okay, all right. I can.
But are you saying he would be?
I didn't make that argument. I asked the question.
But I'm like, where's
How
it stemming
did you
from?
come up with
Right.
top 5? and
Just
not a
saying
great
the way
player?
in which he dominates.
Right.
Okay? Because when he play,
He play.
he play.
He dominate.
And it's the way he took Toronto, carried Toronto. I mean, up the mountain.
Yeah, sure.
Up the
Don't
mountain.
disrespect the Raptors. I guess next week I'm gonna have to broadcast
He
in my
showed
Toronto
them-
jersey, because I
He
feel a lot of
showed
disrespect.
them what it was like to be a champion.
It's not right. It's not
Nah,
disrespectful.
I'm just talking mess.
Okay.
He showed
But
them what it was like to be a champion. So all I'm saying is the way you dominate in such a short amount of time,
Yeah.
right? You say longevity. I don't necessarily think you got to have longevity. You can come in, dominate, get your rings, and get out.
Yeah, I mean, if you come in and get 3 or 4 in a 6-year span,
You know what I'm
3, 4,
saying?
5,
While
and you
LeBron
out.
You
is
gotta have
still
some
working on
kind of
4.
doubt. But to be top 5, you have to have some kind
Longevity.
of longevity. Like you can name all the players in the top 5 had longevity, and anybody's
Who's
top
your
5.
top five?
Okay, but I tell you what,
Jordan. Let's see. I mean, it's not my top
but
5. But
longevity.
I can
Really,
name
you don't
5
consider
players.
Jordan's longevity. You consider 6 for 6. That's really it.
That's longevity, no. And it was
6
oh,
years.
He won Rookie of the Year and MVP. Or no,
There's a lot of people that got Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of people.
but
that
he won MVP in like his 2nd or 3rd year.
Okay.
He got 6 MVPs.
But realistically, what puts him up there was those 6 years.
That's
That's
what
really
put him,
what takes
that's
him
what
over the
puts him-
top, and that
Exactly.
really-
That's why he's the number 1. But he had longevity. Are y'all crazy?
I'm not saying he didn't have
Define-
longevity. I'm just saying when
longevity.
you really look at
Who
How
are the
it
players
works?
that got a championship in the 90s? That's longevity. Like he dominated the 90s.
Is that longevity?
Name.
Is that longevity?
Yes.
But I'm saying,
That's
okay,
6 years. That's 6 years. That's it.
No, it's the entire 90s. Minus
minus
the 2
2
years.
So
That's 8 years. The entire 90s.
6 rings.
6 years. I'm sorry.
6
That's
seasons.
6 years.
I'm about to say you got some wrong numbers over there, Josh. Look, I thought you was never wrong, Josh.
Well, no.
I thought you was never
What
wrong,
I'm
Josh.
what I'm saying longevity, 6 years, right? Okay, so he's got that. He's got the 90s. Like, think about all the players that ain't got a finals because of Michael Jordan.
No,
Think
for
about
sure.
that. But it's not like he was a nobody in the 80s.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
He was
though.
winning
All I'm
MVPs.
saying-
He was winning scoring titles.
All I'm saying is
He
when
was a
people-
top
At the end
2
of
player
the
in the
day, them
league in
don't
the
matter.
80s.
When people really
does
look at
matter.
where you rank on that list, at the end of the day, they're gonna sit down and look at the core achievements. If Kawhi doesn't have longevity, but he get 4 or 5 within he got his first in 2014.
Yeah.
So he only need a couple more. Say he get 4 in the next 2-3 years.
We didn't say 4. We talking about he asked
But
the question
I'm
if he
just
won
saying.
this year.
If you
Is he
this
top
year is
5
ridiculous.
all time?
This year is ridiculous.
Okay.
He's definitely not top 5 all time. You need a couple more accolades before that.
That's what
But
I'm
I'm just
saying.
But if he won this year, it would definitely put him more
It
in
would
the
put him.
contending
It would
for it.
100% put him
But he
in the
wouldn't just
contending, but it wouldn't be
instantly
top
top
5. It wouldn't be. No, he wouldn't be
Contention
contention
for
for
top
top 5.
five?
He
Hell
wouldn't
no.
be contention for top 5. He would be contention for
Top 15?
15 or 20.
Yeah. Hell no. 3 rings and 2 DPOIs does not put you in the top 5.
Okay.
I mean, they give you 5 things, so I mean,
Shut up.
since you're doing math, I mean, hey, it's whatever.
I'm just asking in terms of domination.
No, and for sure he has done that, and I will not discredit him for that. But all I'm saying is I don't think that's fair to put him up there. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that.
Can he finish top 5?
It's
Absolutely,
possible.
he can finish
It's
top 5
possible.
if he go crazy
got-
and
yeah,
win
he
3
got
more
time.
championships.
Who he knocking out?
It depends on.
What's your top 5?
He ain't gonna
Exactly.
make my top 5.
Who he knocking out?
Because it's
I mean,
that's all
he could
that's all
definitely make it in the top
five.
If
what's
he
the
just
word I'm
goes
looking for?
crazy
It's
and
all
wins,
That's
relative.
very relative to you.
if he
and
goes
what you like.
crazy and wins a bunch of championships, you gotta start as the best player.
If Kawhi ends his career with 5 rings, hypothetically, then you have to consider
He's
it.
top 10 for sure if he does that.
You have to consider it.
Yeah.
Especially if he hasn't been an all-out like defender that he used to be enough to get the DPOI nods, but he's still a hell of a defender.
Yeah.
So if he racks up a couple more accolades and of course those championships, then yeah, for sure, because he's got all the tools to do so.
Yeah.
But I don't think a ring this year, especially because a lot of people, and that's all relative too, because it depends on who your team is. A lot of people gonna put an asterisk on this title anyway. So
I agree.
We got comments?
You got comments? You want to say something, producer?
Mm-mm.
Sure.
Okay.
It wasn't.
I'm gonna sit up real quick. Let me see.
What's that time looking
He
like?
walked in like Shaq.
Kawhi
did.
in top 5. I do not know about that.
Oh,
At all?
he
Top
walked in
5
late.
to finish? No, he could finish top 10. He could do everything under the sun and
Who
still
is your top 5?
not gonna be Kawhi.
That could. I mean, if he
But
goes
I just
crazy, if
don't-
he
I
win a
don't-
bunch
he
of
just
rings,
doesn't-
you gotta put
But
him
he
in the
just
top
doesn't
5.
seem like
if
to
he
be
goes,
a
Okay.
top 5.
Y'all
if
know
he
what my
wins
top 5
6
is.
out of 7,
Let's go ahead and get it out the way.
five.
Go ahead. With
My top 5 is Jordan. It's
Okay.
Kareem. This is no order.
Right.
Jordan, Kareem, and LeBron, Russell Westbrook, James Harden.
Oh my God.
So now you need 5 more to even get
Oh,
a good
my
5
God.
in there. Cause whew, them back
Honestly,
end
I don't
three.
know. Top 5 is hard, dude, because you always feel like you slighting somebody.
Just throw out some names.
I mean, of course, Kareem and Jordan have to be there.
Okay.
There's the longevity for sure for Kareem, the accolades for Kareem, whether it's from high school up until the league, like just in general as a basketball person. Top 5 basketball all time, not even just NBA.
Okay.
Jordan is in there. See, it gets tricky because you want to say Bill or Wilt, but you feel like at the same time.
Hey, Bill Russell
No,
got
you gotta
enough
say-
rings
you
to
gotta
have on
say
his
no.
toes.
I'll put Bill in my 10. I won't put him in my 5.
Yeah, no, I would prefer you put Bill over Wilt.
No, Wilt, I was just saying, like, as an example. I
Okay.
wouldn't put Wilt in my.
Okay.
I
mean,
I'm not gonna disrespect Wilt like that. I didn't mean to make that.
that's
face.
always that's why I
But I
really like
wouldn't.
this stuff. It's always so touchy because you don't want to be disrespectful
Exactly,
of any.
because
of
they
the
definitely
greats.
were quality
deserve-
players.
They deserve all the roses.
Then you consider competition. It just is generational to me,
Yeah.
because you
It's
look
when
at
you
like
came
the
in
way
the
you look
league.
at basketball now. A fan of the '90s, you like the league is soft. It's easier to put up points. It's easier to do this. It's easier to do that. So of course your numbers are inflated. But if you in the '90s looking back at the '60s and '70s, you like look who they playing. It was less athletes in there. There was a whole bunch of janitors. It was this. It was that.
I'm
So
just
it's
letting you know
all-
we
know
got
what I'm
some
saying?
we got
It's
some
all-
callings for you to be fired, but go ahead, continue.
Who said they want to fire me?
Gary.
Gary, you can come take my spot.
Okay.
Oh, but you can't leave base. All right.
Oh, so anyway, I just feel like it's hard. It really depends on what generation you grew up paying the most attention to, because it's easy to point out the flaws that were in the past generation.
Scrap all that. Throw out a top 5 so we can say
Right, top
Kawhi in
five.
the conversation.
Kawhi won't be in the conversation regardless at the end of the day. It don't matter if I list off a whole bunch of role players. Kawhi ain't up there. Period. He ain't never gonna be top 5 until he shows me that he
You
gonna do
can't
all
say
that.
he can't. He ain't never.
I
My
say
point is,
until he shows me that
Okay.
though. I'm not gonna already
he
say
gotta
that
win
he's
a
gonna
couple
be in
more
there.
rings to be considered.
Yeah, he
top
need a
five.
couple more rings.
But this is we can,
MVPs wouldn't hurt.
I got a question. I guess we kind of just talking, and
Yeah,
that's
at this
cool.
point.
That's cool. What I was gonna say is my brother made this point a while ago. Okay, so if James Harden
Yep.
wins 2 more rings,
2 more.
Two.
two rings. I'm sorry.
That
If
hurts
James
to say
Harden
two.
wins rings.
If,
Okay.
if James Harden wins, we can almost say 1 or 2 rings. Is he then considered the second or third greatest shooting guard of all time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His point was
He's done
he jumped.
everything but win the rings.
Yeah.
At
So
this point.
he jumped. Y'all think he jumps Dwayne Wade just that easy?
He
I
has
think
to
Dwayne
win.
Wade. We can all say
The
it's
way it's
Jordan.
in my conversation, so I guess
We can all say-
So then that definitely puts him firmly at 3. If you put Dwayne at 2 and Jordan at 1.
No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
man, there's Kobe.
I think you forget.
So
Okay, 1 A, 1 B
it's
because
Wade,
Jordan and Kobe.
It's gonna be
like,
Wade,
they're the same
Kobe,
player.
and then Dwayne Wade. I think are the. Can people agree that's the
Wade,
number?
Kobe, Wade.
Right. What?
I'm sorry, Jordan, Kobe.
I was gonna say, I know that's your favorite player.
What now?
But he
Isley
2 out of
is
the
time.
GOAT.
Isley is this?
Yeah,
All right.
could we say that those are the number 3? Can we say number
I
1,
think
2, 3?
That's fine with me.
That's a fine
That's solid.
3.
Is that fair? So does he get into that list just by winning?
I think he has to win
2
2 or
rings?
more. He has to win 2 or more. If he wins 2, I'm willing to put him above Wade only because of his offensive accomplishments. He got such a deep bag of offense. I mean, Wade is cold, especially that finals run against the Mavericks the first time, not the bad one. He's cold. But James Harden's offensive game and his bag is just so deep. The way he's manipulated any league rule to his favor. Yeah, you can hate the free throws, but if y'all gonna put these rules in play, I'm gonna make sure y'all follow these rules. I'm gonna do everything I can to make you blow the whistle for them rules. So, I put him up there.
What y'all think?
Yeah, I would say, and I'm not going to say only because of his offensive accomplishments, because, I mean, the man is amazing.
He a beast.
And, you know, at the beginning of the day, the man is a problem.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Houston?
So, to me,
I have a
it's
problem.
what he's doing is similar to how people was on Steph for changing the game.
Mm. Okay.
So, if he gets 2 rings, which I think is incredible for him,
Especially because he's one of those people that constantly gets the hate about he'll never win one. Da, 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 da.
I'm
True.
just.
And then the way he plays basketball,
I
never
mean,
win a
we see
ring.
what
So, yeah.
happens to scores without teams.
Right.
So, I think if he gets 2, he's number 3.
Right now, he's definitely top 10 shooting guard. He could be top 5, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not gonna push him up to 3 because he'll definitely never be 1 or 2. But he's definitely already at 5. If he's not at 5, he's a 6. Gonna knock down 5's door. Like Adrian said, he's definitely at the beginning of the day he's a problem, and at the end of the night, he's a nightmare. So it's like, look,
Okay.
That was good.
Okay.
Look, the way it's gonna boil down to it, it's like you definitely can't knock Jordan and Kobe at being 1 and 2. When it gets to 3, D Wade is definitely a problem. Always has been, but I don't
He's
think
replaceable.
I don't think he is though. I really think D Wade is solidified at 3.
Let him know.
I really think he's
Let him
solidified
know.
at 3. I mean, the only way that Harden could really come up is if he'd have to win championship after championship after
Thank
championship.
you.
He'd have to win consecutive, not just 2. Like in time, he'd have to win back to back.
Well, he got 3.
He'd have
I
like
remember
James
that.
Harden would have to win back to back and
not
not
gonna
and
do
have
that.
to carry.
We're not going to do
At
that.
that
You have
point-
to consider
at that point-
situations though. Like,
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Okay,
In order for
Wade
him
Wade
to
got
win, you gotta pull
1.
it.
A solid 1.
exactly.
A solid 1.
Which one
But
was
he
the
still
solid
got
one?
Approved.
The one against the
first one.
Mavericks in
The first one.
06.
06.
Oh, shit.
So Shaq.
3rd year in the league. So
But
that's,
no, he was the best player on that team.
So Shaq.
Right, and he said they were 25-win team before Wade got drafted.
Yeah.
In 3 years, he took him to the finals.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
Hey.
You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, he got a solid 1. So I mean, I guess he would definitely have to get 2. He wouldn't jump one with just.
He would
one.
have to get 2, and then I mean,
Back
as
to
well
back
as
to-
rings. If you look at his overall impact as a player to that Houston organization,
Okay.
They've only gone up and up and up since he's been there. The only thing is he's kept hitting a mountain, which everybody in the league has hit, and that's been the Warriors. It has been hard for him to get past that. And part of that is living and dying by the three, so of course that hurt. But he's shown that he could do it. They just need a little, you know what I'm saying? So I think 2 rings finally supplants offensive beast. He leads this team well. He's taken his franchise and made it back to a contender. You got to put some respect on him. Scoring titles.
It ain't
He's
just
changed.
the Warriors.
I guess he kind of changed the game.
Well, yeah, it ain't just them, but that's been the person or the franchise that's kept him from
Just
getting
for a
to
little bit of clarification, right? So when he was in Oklahoma City, he was the 6th man, right?
6 man
coming off the bench, and you got to think about it like this: he was doing numbers then, and that right there was putting him up there to be good and be great. And now that he's out here with his own team,
I don't want to talk about
now
that.
he's doing even better. Like James Harden is definitely at 4. No matter what he's at 4. You can always argue 3, but he's always going to be at least
4.
We got the comment section a little bit upset because we didn't mention Tracy McGrady. We didn't mention Vince Carter.
No,
But
no.
Hey, T-Mac Cole with that 12.
Team-
We were
12
saying
points in
top
30
3.
seconds,
I don't
but-
think you can put either one of those in the
No,
top 3.
you can't put them
with
in the top 3.
names that we named.
T-Mac and Vince Carter, a lot of people
But I think
first
they're
of all
also
live off of
saying
nostalgia.
they're also saying
Let's be real.
that James Harden would have to surpass those 2. But I think
he has.
pretty close.
Right,
He
it's
has.
not too far off.
He's
Like I
done
said,
that
and-
at this point.
I'm not meaning this in a disrespectful way at all. First of all, huge fan of T-Mac. I actually got an old hoodie, like a little blue Orlando Magic hoodie with T-Mac name on it.
First round.
It was way back in the day.
I
But
think he surpassed
T-Mac, a lot of T-Mac is potential and nostalgia. He was real good. He had potential to be real good, and he was
It's
doing
not
this
just
and that.
potential. He was a scoring champion.
I'm not just saying,
But I see
just
what- I
but you
understand
know
what
what I'm saying? People think so much about his ceiling and put him and Vince Carter too. Like, yeah, they were both really good, phenomenal players. But we not gonna act like James Harden ain't past them. I'm sorry.
This will clearly be a conversation once we get off camera.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's the
because
thing.
apparently you finna
Y'all
start
notice we
throwing
done run a little
fits.
long today. Y'all know me and Josh can sit here and talk for 3 hours, but now that we got,
We got
especially
added
sports,
2 people, but then
Yeah, we
also
added
we
2 people.
we also had a lot of viewership today.
Yeah,
Y'all were
we
rocking with
appreciate
us. We
that.
appreciate that.
Y'all
Round of
was-
applause
y'all
for
was
y'all.
over 10 for a nice little minute. Y'all
Yeah,
got
we
a lot
had
of
a good 10
coming
people
in
in
and
here.
out, too.
Yep. And then let's see what Gary said. He said T-Mac is better than.
you got the bubble guts even trying to read that. What they say?
He said T-Mac is better than D Wade and they're both better than
Producer,
James
can
Harden.
we get can we please get can we
Whose
get Gary
man is
Washington?
this?
Can we get Gary Washington blocked?
Please
work
block
on that.
him. Get him out of here.
600.
Right, you talking about ban him? Ban yourself.
you. Log out for me real quick because you
Come
are
on
done
now.
here. You are.
Log out from the baby.
See, I'm almost puking saying it. Like, come on now, Dwayne Wade.
Look,
Stop.
like we said, we definitely gonna continue these type of conversations after we go off air tonight. So you can always, first of all, it's an open invite right now. If you local, you want to be on the show, hit us up.
You don't have to be local.
Yeah, you actually don't have to be
Don't
local.
have
We
to be
figured that
local.
out.
We got it,
figured
and
it
you
out.
can be seen. We can get you on camera.
Except Gary, you're not invited. You're done.
Yeah.
But anybody else, if
Sorry.
you local, pull up, reach out to us. We can get you here. If you're not local, or you're not trying to be, you know what I'm saying? Let us know. We can get you in on the show.
We can put you on the show.
Because we always have great interactions with just me and Josh, but it's always nice to have another person brought in, another 2 people in this case. We brought the homies in.
Keeping us in check.
Keeping
Sometimes
you in
they
check,
try to
you be
keep us
wrong.
in check. I don't know.
You be wrong.
I'm right. This
All right.
this ain't wrong.
Clip that. Anyway. Oh, shouts out producer. We almost forgot Petty Betty. Who's Petty Betty? this
Petty
week?
Betty keeping us on track. You didn't see the text, but the Petty Betty of the week is Doris Burke. Y'all see what Doris Burke said?
Doris Burke do?
Yeah.
Doris Burke is the Petty Betty of the week. Doris Burke was on. She was talking about. I honestly didn't see the clip. I just saw what she said. She was talking about who was the 2 teams that she was playing. Can you tell me, producer? Okay, but she was playing. She was broadcasting the game, and she was predicting who was gonna win the game, or something like that. She was predicting who was gonna win the game. I probably should have watched it. But she was saying, and then she was broadcasting. She was like, "Yeah, I like to be right. Just ask my ex-husband." Petty Betty of the week. There you go. Petty Betty of the
That's
week
tough.
right there.
That's tough.
And I was
No,
like,
you know what
true,
an
true.
underrated petty moment is? I think I believe the Celtics and the Bucks were playing. I think somebody on the Celtics crossed up somebody on the Bucks, and the Celtics Twitter team tweeted it and hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Oh
The
yeah. I did see that.
the player that got crossed up was
I
a
saw
black
that.
player.
Pelicans.
Okay, it was the Pelicans and Grizzlies. That was the game that Doris Burke was covering.
Got you.
And she was saying like one of the teams was going to win. I think it must have been Pelicans. Grizzlies are on 5.
It's on 4.
On 4, whatever. They were going to be on 5.
We have one less loss than that, actually.
But she was predicting who was going to win that game. She was like, I like to be right. Just ask my ex-husband. So that's Petty of the Week. And then it was the Bucks. It was the Bucks Twitter page. You know,
Yeah,
like Black Lives Matter.
He said, snatch.
After it was because it was DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
He crossed up somebody on the
Oh my
on
God.
the Celtics. And
Hey, they tweeted
they
that.
should
I
have
was
left
like,
it
I
up.
know
They
you
got
lied.
scared. They was like,
Twitter
"Ooh, I
especially
want to."
loves that. Like, you should have just let that be because we would
Go
have a
ahead,
field
we'll be
day.
like, yeah, you're right. Black
Ain't nobody
Lives
gonna be
Matter.
mad at
Pray
it.
for
Y'all
him.
out here
Hey,
kneeling and wearing
Say his
t-shirts.
name.
Oh my God! Why you get so close to the camera?
Now he is out of pocket.
Petty
He
Betty
is
of
out
the
of
week.
pocket, right?
Petty
He's
Betty
got
of
a
the
strong
week.
runner for Petty Betty. So the only way we gotta finish it off, Josh, you know how this roll.
You know how we gotta do it.
Amen.
Who gonna go first? You gonna go first? You want me to go
I
first?
want you to go first this time, man. Let me ask you this though:
Ask to me.
Are you screaming? I'm sorry. No, are you shouting? Or are you just speaking today? What we gonna do? Speaking of shout.
Let's see. What could I talk about? I'm speaking today because I shouted
Speak on
last
it.
week.
You did shout.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just speak to
Shout.
the congregation.
I gotta get the graphics together, man. That would be a great time for shout.
Show my hands up and
Shout.
wow.
All right, I'm gonna just speak
That's
today.
what y'all gonna use?
Go ahead.
I'm
Speak.
gonna speak today, and I'm just gonna to. I guess I can't really think of nothing to really rant about.
You did that already. Last.
Did I rant?
No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
But no, I'm gonna speak about I don't really know. I'm gonna speak. You know what? It's kind of on my heart. Baseball. I'm speaking about baseball. Like,
Notice you don't talk
matter of
about
fact, no. You know what? I'm gonna speak about. I got it now.
You know what? Let me tell you
I'm
something.
speaking about.
Let me tell you
I'm
something.
speaking about every other league other than the NBA right now.
Let's talk about it.
Speak on it.
Like,
Speak on it.
what are y'all doing? Let's speak about the NFL. They actually, this was it wasn't the perfect scenario, but it happened for them at the most opportune time, right after the Super Bowl, right at the beginning of the play season. By this, I'm talking about the coronavirus situation. Okay, everybody, all the other teams that we talking about, all the other leagues had to shut down, but they didn't
was
have to
good.
shut down. That was
That
good.
was raps. Yeah.
Y'all
They had
had
more
all
time than
this
anybody.
time. Y'all had the actual off season.
Mhm.
Other leagues had to create an off season basically. Y'all had the off season,
Yeah.
and this is what y'all did with it. Y'all didn't do any kind of planning, no strategy. Like they say, you couldn't have put those teams in the bubble just because there's so many players on the team, but they could have created individual bubbles. They could have had like 2 bubbles. They could have did
I
something.
think about that every time they show that sky view of the bubble. You see all the baseball fields, the soccer
Right,
fields.
you see
the-
all
like,
they could
there's
have did
options.
something,
You
and the
coulda-
fact
yeah.
that y'all didn't do anything, basically y'all just kind of sat on your hands and like, okay, we're gonna hopefully this pass over. No,
Yeah.
so and then on top of that, y'all talking about allowing fans to the games.
What are you doing,
Are we
bro?
serious?
This is not the move.
They just, as long as they social distance and
You
wear
really think they
masks,
gonna-
they gotta go to the game. Come on,
They won't wear a mask to the grocery store, bro.
Come
You really
on,
think they gonna
man. Just like y'all. Come on, man. So I'm speaking on that. Get y'all life together. Football, baseball is not doing any better. They had a little bit more time. It started in the off season, and it kind of did mess up the beginning of the season. But they still had a lot of time to plan. And it's crazy that the leagues that were mid-season, they did a better
They
job
figured out a way to
of figuring it out and coming to grips with the coronavirus, while the teams that were off-season when it started, they messed up. So that's what I'm speaking
All this
about.
reaffirms, Josh, is that the NBA is always ahead of the curve. That's it.
That's
Especially when it comes to the NFL. They
That's true.
always lacking.
And Christian, I did see the spray machines, and it's just like, yeah, that's great, but it's just a spray machine. That ain't gonna stop them from breathing on each other. And it's not even really about, like, you can't control. You gotta play football. You gotta be within each other's spaces.
Right.
I get that, but it's about you're not going. They didn't do anything to try to control what these players are going to be surrounded by once they leave the facilities. And that's
Same
what the
goes for
NBA
baseball.
bubble was.
Big facts.
Bubble was like, okay, you can't. You got to be in this bubble. And then people was arguing like, I don't know if this was real, but James Harden was like, bring the clubs to us, which is crazy. And obviously they're not gonna do that. But you got to keep them away from that scene.
Kind of bad. You brought everything else.
I mean, I guess they could, but it's just like
We're
how
trying
you-
to make it like the 2K park, but instead of park after dark, we want a club. Boy. We want,
Right.
we trying to.
I mean, I
turn
guess
up.
they could do it. It just wouldn't make sense because you gotta actually bring those people to make it a club.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be NBA players in the club.
What you mean?
Just
Dan-
to piggyback off of
dancing
that
on each
though,
other.
I actually was watching what's it, Real Sports with Brian Gumbel? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. They were actually, he talked about, he brought in, he had David Aldridge. This time he couldn't press A or X and skip him. He had David Aldridge in there. He had some other people in there just giving perspective on the different sports. If they think the season will work, if it'll happen, and why or why not. David Aldridge, his thought, the NBA bubble so far is working. I don't know how long ago this was recorded, but his concern is because at some point they're going to allow family to come in. At that point,
Are they?
are we?
gonna allow film
I
like
think
that?
so. At that point, are you opening the risk to the virus? Because so far, this is week 3 or
5?
4?
They're a month in.
Yeah, they're a month in the bubble. No positive tests have happened yet in the bubble. But once you start bringing in outside people,
It's gonna,
at what point does the virus
that's gonna
potentially
be
spread
issues.
and ruin?
I didn't know they
Yeah.
was talking about bringing family members in.
I think they are. I'm almost positive I read that before hearing him say that last night. So that does bring up the, that piques my curiosity a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But they were talking about like college. They didn't shut down all the sports for real in college, but they didn't let football players come back on campus, and they got them out here.
They got them practice.
because they know it's a $1 billion industry. Y'all not worried about the safety.
Correct.
And
I'm glad I
that's-
spoke on that. I was thinking
Yeah.
about that. Got that off my chest.
It's ridiculous to me that you got these kids. You're gonna tell these kids, "Oh, sports are canceled," but the college teams like, I mean, you can still go play football.
Y'all still gonna play.
Y'all can move back in on
And
campus.
you know what? The first thing you ain't gonna say scholarship.
Exactly.
You want the
They dangling the
scholarship?
scholarship money in front of their face, even though you ain't gonna actually touch none of this money. You're not gonna get none of the money we profited off of you from.
That's actually why we need to have this one on the show.
Yeah. Oh no, we gonna get the producer in the booth one of these days.
We gonna
you
get
know what
her
I'm
on
saying?
the
We
show.
gonna
'Cause I want to
transition.
have that talk
We
on
gonna
the show.
one of these days, if you just see us cut to a little commercial break, we gonna swap out. Me and the producer Daria gonna get in here and do some shouting. You feel me? But yeah, it's
can't wait for
ridiculous.
that.
Every sport has not found a way really to monitor this well on a major level. You got MLB players just disappearing in the middle of the day. Dang, where'd he go? Yeah, I'm opting out.
That was hilarious. I mean, good,
My boy
good for
really
him,
didn't
though.
say nothing to nobody.
Good
He
for
just
him,
did.
though.
They're like, man, where is he? Oh,
Talking about Giannis Cespedes.
he said, I'm good on this. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You got what was it? The Marlins that all had it.
Mhm.
most of that team
And the
is
Cardinals.
out.
Not the
Cardinals, yeah.
came.
So it's spreading like wildfire through the baseball teams.
But so far, those have been only two teams. So I thought it was kind of be a
I'm telling
domino effect. But since the Cardinals, that was last week. They're
That's
starting
only
to play
been a week.
tomorrow.
We'll see.
I thought other teams are going to start to do it, but now I haven't
It was
had
some
any
other
other
teams that had some confirmed
Uh-uh, it was
tests.
It's
just the
like
Marlins.
no, they,
No,
it was
they were the
another
only
team.
ones. The Cardinals and the Marlins were the only teams that had
A
like,
lot of people.
people.
Yeah, but
Okay.
there's
It's
a
been
couple
other
other
teams
teams
with,
that
like, one
confirmed
or two.
cases.
But
One
I
or
mean,
two.
I
Or coaches
expected
as well.
that even in the
Yeah.
basketball though.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as far as monitoring
It's
the
still
spread of
happening.
it,
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. And
because
then
if
the
one
NFL,
person gets it, more people probably.
the NFL, nobody's talking about numbers, but you guarantee that there's probably a lot of people that have tested positive for it if they're
They've been
running
dropping
tests.
a few numbers over the last few days.
yeah.
It's been a couple teams.
So you kind of curious about it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you spoke on that.
I'm glad I spoke on that too. I got that off my chest, like I said. But Romero, are you speaking or are you shouting today?
I'm gonna just shout a little bit. I'm like slightly raise my voice. Y'all mind if I scream? First and foremost, I have to hold myself accountable for my tweet. I told you I was gonna scream at you about James Harden being the GOAT. I told you that. I tweeted about it.
James
I tweeted
Harden,
about
go.
it. He the GOAT. He the GOAT. They beat the Bucks, and it felt real good to watch Giannis and the Bucks lose. Even though Brook Lopez was tearing us up, and I was sweating, they pulled it out. I was real nervous, and I
What
was
are you doing
happy.
that next game though?
And that's exactly why I said I'm not shouting, because they made me proud and let me right back down, as they typically do. Because then they lost to Portland, who has zero hopes of doing anything with this season, and you still lost to them.
Chill
So
with
allow
Portland.
me to just...
Portland, y'all better watch out for Portland. They gonna be something.
If Portland was
Not
going to be
something, but
something,
they gonna get
they
elected.
would have been in the list the whole season. They wouldn't be fighting for it now at the end of the season.
Watch out for
If they was
Portland.
gonna do something, they would've been dead.
Like I said in last episode, Lakers, y'all better watch out for Portland, bro. Telling you that 1-8, that's gonna be a good series.
All I would say is that Portland got destroyed with AD and the second best player being Drew Holiday. I don't see them beating AD when the second best player is LeBron James.
That was a couple years ago, man. Come on.
It's still the same
Wait, when
team.
AD is the second best.
No, AD's definitely the best player on that roster. As far as the numbers he's putting up, he's their best player.
Okay.
LeBron is the better player. But this year, realistically, AD is their best
It's
player.
been 1A, 1B.
I'll take that. So anyway, I just had to hold myself accountable for that tweet. Of course, I'd be way more over the top, but then they turned right around and lost, so I'm going to just take that. But I'm just going to shout about the fact, once again, happy the NBA is back. Happy we getting our viewers up. Happy that these games have been so good.
So good.
Shouting about the March Madness style basketball all day.
So good.
You know what I sat there and did? What was that, Saturday? I just watched basketball all day.
Yeah.
WNBA,
I had to work.
NBA, all day.
Work, I was mad.
I sat in my recliner like somebody granddaddy watched the game. I fell asleep, woke right back up, basketball still on. Ate me a little snack, came back, basketball still on. I'm shouting about it, man. I love it. I love not having to wait till Tuesday nights, Wednesday night prime time, or Thursday nights. It's every day. Every day. I love it.
It's every day, baby.
That's what I'm shouting about.
Cam, you speaking or you shouting, buddy?
He always shouting, so I'm surprised if he speaks.
I mean, so look, no, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna do a little speaking, just a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So-
Speak to us, brother.
Y'all touched on it a little bit, and I've been keeping up. College football is my forte just a little bit. I've been keeping up lately. A lot of teams are definitely pushing towards springtime football this year. They're trying to move it along.
Mhm.
The SWAC was the first conference to say they were going to do that. You know, shouts out to all the HBCUs, you know, doing their thug thizzle,
True.
doing their thing. That's where the real football at. You know, football and the band. That's what's up with it. But
Shouts out the band.
the real problem is the SEC. What are y'all doing? Like, bro, really? The SEC came out this week and said that they were going to they were going to let their teams play this year in 2020. That's their goal, is to play 2020, and they're going to have 10 games of in-conference teams. They're going to play their regular divisional conference games, and then they're going to play 2 games from the opposite side of the conference. And I just feel like that's stupid. Like, y'all are really out here finna risk these kids' lives for money that they'll never see, and money that y'all really not finna see, because it's not finna be as big as you really think it is, because everybody...
It's gonna fizzle out when everybody gets sick.
It is. That's what's really gonna happen, because they're also playing these games on campuses. They're not playing it in a bubble situation in a confined area. They're playing these... Teams are traveling from one state to the next state, from one campus to the next campus. It's like they're literally playing in college stadiums, and that's not what's gonna be beneficial. You getting around all these college kids, and you already know college kids ain't the move, because they don't care. I'm not even gonna lie, we don't care. A lot of us don't, but that's just gonna make it worse. So I just want to talk about that for a little bit, get that off my chest, because it's like, man, look, y'all need to just really wait this out, see how it's gonna pan out. I understand y'all are literally the conference that makes the most money, but y'all could really go without this money, man. Y'all don't need to do that. Do like everybody else is attempting to, and push it along. And I can't see my producer because there's a big black shirt in the way. But there was a team that actually came out this week and said they're not playing at all, like whatsoever. I want to say it was UConn.
Yeah, it was
somewhere.
UConn.
Okay, yeah, UConn came out and said they're not playing at all. They don't care if it's in March. They don't care if it's in April. They don't care if it's in January. They're not playing.
And the Pac-12 did the same thing. They tried to do an in-conference season, but the Pac-12 players said they're not gonna play. And like I said, more power to them.
Yeah, so that's what I had to get off my chest. So I just wanted to do a little speaking.
AP, are you speaking or are you shouting?
I'm shouting. I'm gonna make it real quick.
All right, go ahead and make it quick for us. We way over time.
Shout out to the boy Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yes.
For making the XFL dreams come true.
Yes.
There's something shady going on with Vince McMahon being the boss of that originally, but we won't get into that tonight.
Might be just as shady as with The Rock. He comes from the same WWE. He probably learned a few things.
Yeah, but shout out to that man for
Yes, Hurski.
even though he can't make his dreams come true in that way.
That's
providing
pretty tough.
opportunity
We
for
showed
other
it.
people.
Yeah, that was a good. I like that shout out. Definitely shout out to The Rock for that.
Oh wait, can I make one more
Go
quick
ahead.
point? So I just saw this week. I don't know if this is true. I know our producer's like top artist is Wale, and apparently Wale is trying. He's gonna be in the XFL. And shouts out to J. Cole, who out here trying to do his Percy Miller
We did
impression.
forget to
He's
jump
trying to
on
hop
that.
out here and get into the league too.
True.
So shouts out to the people that are in pop culture that's trying to make that switch over too.
Look,
Do a
and
little
I'm
something.
gonna cut you right there, gentlemen, only because at this point we about to hit an hour and 30. They ain't used to this. We try to keep it 45 minutes, so we gonna continue
our
these
fault,
discussions
but yeah.
off air, and that's what happens
That's all
when you
good.
bring in guests in the studio. But I tell you what, that's something that we gonna keep in mind moving forward. Is these rappers trying to get into the game? How we feel about it? I want to talk about it next week because we
For sure.
definitely meant to touch it. We didn't get into it. But we gonna wrap it up here, man. Appreciate all of y'all coming.
Appreciate it.
Fella, your boy Red, shouts out to the guests, Cam, Adrian, aka AP and Young Cheese Whiz. Once
Yes,
again,
sir.
shout out to all of y'all that was in the comments as well as our live studio audience and our producer Daria. We gonna holler at y'all
Shout
next
out.
time, man. Look out for us next Thursday. Peace.